When we talk about virtual reality, there are countless games that come to mind, spanning a wide array of genres and themes. However, not every game manages to stand the test of time, nor does every VR title capture the unique potential of this immersive platform. That's why I've curated a list of some of the most exceptional VR games out there, both in terms of my personal favorites and those that truly stand as the best representation of their respective genres. These aren't just good VR games, they're incredible representations of what virtual reality has to offer, in terms of gameplay, graphics, and innovation. Kicking off our list at number 15 is Ghosts of Tabor, an intense and unforgiving VR shooter that's often compared to the likes of Escape from Tarkov. In Ghosts of Tabor, you're placed in a ruthless, tactical environment where survival is never guaranteed. Set in a post-apocalyptic landscape, the game emphasizes stealth, strategy, and scavenging as you navigate war-torn environments in search of valuable resources. What sets Ghosts of Tabor apart is its focus on realism and tension, offering players a truly immersive experience. Every sound, from the faintest rustling of leaves to the distant echo of gunfire, becomes significant. You'll need to carefully choose your engagements because once you're dead, you lose everything you were carrying. For fans of hardcore shooters, Ghosts of Tabor is a breath of fresh air. Its slower pace and high stakes make every encounter a pulse-pounding affair. The game isn't about running and gunning. It's about survival, resource management, and outsmarting your opponents. With cooperative and competitive multiplayer modes, Ghosts of Tabor is a game that rewards tactical thinking, patience, and precision. Although it can be punishing, the sense of achievement after a successful extraction is immense. The immersive sound design, combined with its gritty, realistic visuals, makes Ghosts of Tabor one of the most engaging VR shooters available today. Coming in at number 14, the Moss series offers a delightful and heartwarming experience that is unlike any other VR game. Set in a beautifully crafted world full of vibrant colors and whimsical environments, Moss puts players in control of Quill, an adventurous mouse who embarks on a grand quest to save her uncle and defeat a malevolent force threatening her world. What makes Moss special is how it seamlessly blends traditional platforming and puzzle solving with the immersive potential of virtual reality. As the player, you take on the role of a guiding spirit who watches over Quill, helping her navigate through perilous environments and assisting her in combat. The emotional connection between the player and Quill is one of the game's standout features. Quill acknowledges your presence, reacting to your movements, and even offering a high five after a tough battle. This bond elevates the game from a simple platformer to a deeply personal adventure. The puzzles are cleverly designed, making use of VR's 3D space to challenge players to think outside the box. The sequel, Moss, Book 2, builds on the original success by adding more complex puzzles, new weapons, and deeper storytelling. The hand-painted environments, combined with an enchanting musical score, create a sense of wonder that few VR games can match. If you're looking for a VR game that combines action, puzzle solving, and an emotional narrative, the Moss series is a must-play. At number 13, we step into the iconic Star Wars universe with Star Wars Squadrons, a game that brings the thrill of space dogfights to VR in stunning detail. Set after the events of Return of the Jedi, Squadrons puts you in the cockpit of both Rebel and Imperial starfighters, allowing you to experience the action from both sides of the galactic conflict. In VR, the immersion is taken to new heights, as every detail of the ship's interiors is meticulously recreated. Whether you're piloting a nimble X-Wing or a powerful TIE fighter, the sense of scale and speed is exhilarating. The game's single-player campaign offers a mix of intense space battles and quieter moments that dive into the motivations of its characters. However, the real draw of Star Wars Squadrons is its multiplayer mode, where players can engage in thrilling 5v5 dogfights or participate in larger fleet battles that require coordination and strategy. The game's flight mechanics are surprisingly deep, allowing players to divert power between weapons, shields, and engines, creating a layer of strategy not often seen in space combat games. While the multiplayer community has shrunk since its release, the game's dedicated fanbase continues to keep the competitive spirit alive. The VR mode enhances the experience dramatically, making every evasive roll, barrel spin, and blaster exchange feel incredibly immersive. If you've ever dreamed of stepping into the cockpit of a Star Wars starfighter, Star Wars Squadrons delivers one of the best VR space combat experiences available. Landing at number 12, the Lone Echo series is a shining example of how VR can elevate storytelling and exploration. Set aboard a space station orbiting Saturn, you play as Jack, an AI-powered robot assisting a human astronaut named Liv. What makes Lone Echo stand out is its zero-gravity movement system, which allows you to push, pull, and float through the weightless environment with a level of freedom rarely seen in VR. The mechanics are intuitive, and navigating the space station feels fluid and natural. However, the game is more than just a technical showcase. It tells a gripping story filled with mystery, danger, and heartwarming moments between Jack and Liv. The sequel, Lone Echo 2, expands on the original's narrative while refining its gameplay mechanics. The sense of isolation and the vastness of space is palpable, and the tension rises as you uncover the deeper mysteries of the station and its alien inhabitants. The detailed environments, combined with impressive voice acting and a haunting musical score, create an atmosphere that draws players in from start to finish. What sets the Lone Echo series apart is its focus on building a relationship between the player and the NPC characters. Liv feels like a real person, reacting to your actions and developing a bond with Jack over the course of the game. This emotional connection adds weight to the game's climactic moments, making it one of the most emotionally resonant experiences in VR. For fans of narrative-driven games, the Lone Echo series is a must-play and a testament to VR's potential to tell deep, engaging stories. At number 11 is No Man's Sky, a game that has undergone one of the most impressive turnarounds in gaming history. After a rocky launch, No Man's Sky has evolved into a sprawling universe of exploration, crafting, and discovery, with its VR mode offering an entirely new perspective on the game's procedurally generated worlds. The sense of scale in VR is awe-inspiring. Stepping out of your ship onto an alien planet and gazing up at its towering mountains or floating islands feels truly otherworldly. The game's environments, from lush forests to barren deserts, are filled with life, and in VR, you can interact with these ecosystems in ways that feel natural and immersive. The freedom to explore, build, and survive is at the heart of No Man's Sky, and the VR mode enhances this experience by allowing you to physically interact with the world around you. Mining resources, constructing bases, and piloting spaceships all feel more tactile, and the sense of scale when entering new planets is breathtaking. The game's regular updates have introduced a wealth of new features, including multiplayer, underwater exploration, and massive community events. The VR mode works seamlessly with the rest of the game, allowing players to switch between traditional and VR gameplay at any time. For those who love the idea of endless exploration and the thrill of discovering new, uncharted worlds, No Man's Sky in VR is the ultimate spacefaring adventure. Its vast, procedurally generated universe ensures that no two planets are the same, and the game's constant updates keep the experience fresh and engaging for new and returning players alike. Starting off the top 10 is Astro Bot Rescue Mission, a game that has charmed VR players with its innovative use of virtual reality and its joyful platforming mechanics. Developed by Japan's studio, Astro Bot places you in the role of a giant, godlike entity who guides a tiny robot named Astro through a series of inventive, obstacle-filled levels. The game takes full advantage of VR's capabilities, using the headset's motion tracking and 3D environments to create levels that feel dynamic and alive. The standout feature of Astro Bot is how it uses VR to change the way players interact with the world. You'll need to physically move your head to peek around corners, dodge obstacles, and line up jumps. The game's levels are full of hidden secrets and collectibles, encouraging players to explore every nook and cranny. Combat is light but satisfying, and the game's puzzles are cleverly designed to take advantage of VR's spatial awareness. What truly makes Astro Bot a standout VR experience is its charm. Astro himself is an endearing protagonist, full of personality, and the game's vibrant, colorful worlds are a joy to explore. The soundtrack is equally delightful, with catchy tunes that perfectly match the game's whimsical tone. Although it's currently exclusive to PlayStation VR 1, Astro Bot Rescue Mission is one of the best examples of how VR can take traditional game genres and give them new life through the power of immersion. At number 9, Legendary Tales stands out as one of the best co-op VR dungeon crawlers available. With its physics-based combat, deep RPG mechanics, and sprawling procedurally generated dungeons, the game offers endless hours of cooperative fun. Legendary Tales allows up to 4 players to team up and tackle various enemies, from skeletons and goblins to more formidable foes, as they explore dark, mysterious environments filled with loot, traps, and hidden treasures. The game's combat system is one of its strongest features. Every swing of your sword, thrust of your spear, or block with your shield is dictated by the player's physical movements, making each fight feel tactile and immersive. The physics-based interactions extend beyond combat. Picking up objects, moving environmental obstacles, and looting chests all rely on realistic, hands-on controls. The RPG elements, including character leveling, skill trees, and gear upgrades, give the game depth, allowing players to customize their characters to suit their playstyles. While Legendary Tales can be played solo, it truly shines in multiplayer. The camaraderie of working together to defeat bosses, solve puzzles, and navigate the game's labyrinthine dungeons creates an experience that feels both challenging and rewarding. At number 8, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners immerses players in the grim world of the beloved comic and TV series, offering a gripping survival horror experience that pushes the boundaries of virtual reality. Set in New Orleans, the game places you in the shoes of a survivor navigating a city overrun by the undead, where every decision counts and resources are scarce. The game's day-night cycle also adds a layer of strategy, as nighttime brings out more dangerous enemies, compelling players to plan their movements carefully. The VR mechanics are another highlight. The game utilizes motion controls for a tactile experience when fighting zombies, crafting items, and exploring your surroundings. The sensation of using a melee weapon feels satisfying, and the physics-based interactions create a sense of realism that amplifies the horror elements. The graphics and sound design contribute to the eerie atmosphere. Securing the 7th spot is Boneworks, a revolutionary VR game that prioritizes physics and player freedom above all else. Developed by Stress Level Zero, this title showcases what VR is capable of, with a level of interactivity that is unparalleled in the medium. The game takes place in a virtual world where players navigate various environments, solve puzzles, and engage in intense combat against a variety of enemies. What truly sets Boneworks apart is its physics engine. Almost every object in the game can be interacted with, thrown, or manipulated in a realistic manner. Want to use a chair as a weapon? Go for it. Need to create a makeshift barricade? You can stack objects in real time. The possibilities are nearly endless, which fosters a sense of creativity and experimentation that is rare in most video games. The level design is also impressive, offering expansive areas to explore, each filled with secrets and challenges that encourage players to think critically about how they approach situations. The combat mechanics are equally robust. Players can use a variety of weapons, ranging from melee to firearms, and each has its unique feel and handling. The game encourages players to engage in combat using whatever is at their disposal, whether it's utilizing the environment or employing clever tactics to outsmart enemies. This freedom creates an exhilarating gameplay loop, where players can find their own solutions to challenges. Although Boneworks has a more hardcore approach compared to other VR games, its depth and interactivity make it a must-play for any VR enthusiast. The game also serves as a significant stepping stone for future VR titles, showcasing the potential for immersive and engaging gameplay in virtual reality. At number 6, Horizon Call of the Mountain transports players into the breathtaking world of Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. Designed specifically for PlayStation VR 2, this title puts you in the role of Ryas, a former soldier on a quest to uncover a threat to the world of the Horizon series. The game is filled with stunning visuals that bring the lush landscapes, towering machines, and rich lore of the franchise to life. The gameplay is a blend of exploration, climbing, and combat. Players can climb cliffs and scale massive structures in a way that feels intuitive and satisfying. The sense of height is enhanced by the VR perspective, making every climb feel like an adventure. As you traverse this expansive world, you'll encounter a variety of environments, from dense forests to arid deserts, each teeming with wildlife and hostile machines. Combat in Horizon Call of the Mountain maintains the franchise's focus on strategy and skill. Players can use a variety of tools and weapons to take down mechanical foes, utilizing stealth or direct confrontation based on their preferences. The game encourages players to use their surroundings to their advantage, making every encounter feel dynamic and engaging. The storytelling is another highlight, providing context and depth to the Horizon universe. The game is packed with lore, offering fans new insights into the world they love while also being accessible to newcomers. With its breathtaking graphics, immersive gameplay, and rich narrative, Horizon Call of the Mountain sets a new standard for VR storytelling and exploration. In the 5th spot, Halflife Alex stands as a monumental achievement in virtual reality gaming. Set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2, this title allows players to step into the shoes of Alyx Vance as she fights against the oppressive Combine forces. The game is designed exclusively for VR, which enhances its already incredible narrative and gameplay mechanics. Half-Life Alex makes use of VR's potential to create immersive environments filled with interactive elements. Players can pick up objects, manipulate their surroundings, and engage in combat in a way that feels incredibly natural. The game's physics engine adds depth to puzzle solving, requiring players to think creatively to overcome obstacles. Whether it's stacking objects to reach higher places or using tools to hack Combine technology, the interactivity is astounding. Combat is intense and varied, allowing players to use a range of weapons and tactics to take down enemies. The game encourages exploration, rewarding players who take the time to search for hidden items and lore scattered throughout its richly detailed environments. The storytelling is top-notch, filled with memorable characters and moments that will resonate with fans of the series. Visually, Half-Life Alex is a technical marvel, showcasing the capabilities of modern VR headsets. The level of detail in the environments is astonishing, with everything from the character models to the sound design working together to create an immersive experience. Half-Life Alex is not just a great VR game, it's one of the best entries in the Half-Life series, proving that VR can deliver narratives and gameplay experiences that rival traditional gaming. Taking the 4th spot is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, a landmark title in the survival horror genre that successfully revitalizes the franchise. While the game can be played without VR, experiencing it in virtual reality amplifies the horror and tension, making it an unforgettable experience. Set in the eerie Baker family mansion in rural Louisiana, you play as Ethan Winters, who is searching for his missing wife, Mia, only to encounter horrific creatures and the deranged Baker family. The first-person perspective immerses players in the heart of the horror, with every creak of the floorboards and distant whisper amplifying the sense of dread. In VR, the game's atmospheric design reaches new heights. Players can feel the claustrophobia of narrow hallways and the impending threat of lurking enemies. The detailed environments are filled with terrifying imagery and clever puzzles, encouraging players to explore while maintaining a constant sense of unease. Combat mechanics are tense, forcing players to manage limited resources while navigating a world filled with grotesque creatures. The horror elements are amplified in VR, making every encounter feel visceral and immediate. Players must rely on quick reflexes and careful planning to survive against the formidable enemies that lurk in the shadows. What truly elevates Resident Evil 7 in VR is its ability to blend exploration, puzzle solving, and combat into a cohesive horror experience. The game revitalizes the classic survival horror formula while embracing the potential of virtual reality. For fans of horror games, Resident Evil 7: Biohazard is an essential experience that showcases the power of VR to instill fear and immersion. We are in the top 3, folks. At number 3, Gran Turismo 7 sets the standard for realistic racing simulations in VR. This entry in the long-running series captures the essence of motorsport, offering players a vast array of cars, tracks, and events to participate in. The game emphasizes realism, with meticulous attention to detail in both vehicle physics and the driving experience. In VR, the immersion is taken to another level, making players feel as though they are truly behind the wheel of some of the world's most iconic vehicles. The driving mechanics are refined, with a wide range of customization options that allow players to tune their cars to their liking. Whether you prefer the thrill of racing on a track or the challenges of drifting, Gran Turismo 7 accommodates a variety of racing styles. The graphics are stunning, with beautifully rendered environments and lifelike cars that enhance the sense of realism. The game also features a robust online multiplayer mode, allowing players to compete against others from around the world. The sense of competition and camaraderie in online racing adds an extra layer of excitement to the experience. Gran Turismo 7 is not just about racing, it's about celebrating car culture and the thrill of driving. In VR, every turn, acceleration, and brake feels incredibly realistic, allowing players to truly connect with the experience. The attention to detail in the cockpit view is impressive, making players feel like they are sitting in a real car. For racing enthusiasts and casual gamers alike, Gran Turismo 7 is a stunning showcase of what VR can bring to the racing genre, delivering a thrilling and immersive experience that is hard to beat. Coming in at number 2 is the Resident Evil 4 Remake, a complete reimagining of one of the most beloved games in the Resident Evil franchise. Originally released in 2005, Resident Evil 4 has been hailed as a masterpiece of action and survival horror, and its VR remake takes it to new heights. Playing as Leon S. Kennedy, you are tasked with rescuing the president's daughter from a remote European village plagued by a sinister cult and monstrous creatures. In VR, the game's tension and action are amplified. Every encounter feels more personal, whether you're fending off hordes of infected villagers or engaging in intense firefights with the game's various enemies. The controls are intuitive, allowing players to aim, reload, and use weapons with precision, creating a visceral combat experience. The environmental design is stunning, with richly detailed locations that enhance the horror elements of the game. Exploring the dark forests, eerie castles, and dilapidated villages in VR adds a new layer of immersion to the already atmospheric game. Every shadow and sound takes on new meaning when you're physically present in the environment. Combat is a central focus of the gameplay, with a wide array of weapons and tactics at the player's disposal. The VR perspective makes aiming and shooting feel natural, while the intensity of the encounters keeps players on edge. Claiming the top spot is Resident Evil Village, the 8th main entry in the Resident Evil series. Continuing the story of Ethan Winters from Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. This game takes place in a mysterious village filled with gothic horror and monstrous threats. In VR, Resident Evil Village offers one of the most immersive and terrifying experiences in gaming. The game's setting is a hauntingly beautiful village, complete with castles, forests, and dungeons, each meticulously designed to create an unsettling atmosphere. The VR experience heightens the tension, making every encounter with the game's enemies feel more intense and immediate. From towering werewolves to eerie vampire-like creatures, Resident Evil Village offers a wide variety of enemies that challenge players both in combat and in strategy. The combat mechanics in VR feel fluid and responsive, with weapons handling realistically as players fend off hordes of enemies. The game encourages exploration, with hidden treasures, lore, and upgrades scattered throughout the village, rewarding players who take their time to uncover every secret. The puzzles are cleverly designed, providing moments of reprieve from the relentless action and horror while also deepening the mystery of the game's narrative. The narrative is gripping, filled with twists and turns that keep players engaged from start to finish. The game masterfully blends survival horror with action, ensuring that players are always on the edge of their seats. Resident Evil Village in VR is a complete package, combining a compelling story, breathtaking visuals, and intense gameplay into one of the most immersive horror experiences available. For any fan of the series or VR enthusiasts, this game is an absolute must-play. This ranking not only highlights some of the most innovative and immersive VR games available today, but also demonstrates how VR as a platform has evolved. offering players experiences that go beyond traditional gaming. Whether you're a fan of horror, racing, adventure, or action, there's something on this list that will offer you a uniquely immersive experience in virtual reality.